Hi everyone, welcome to All Four Queens. I forgot to add on the bottom one, so I'll just post this as a separate one. I hope everyone's doing well on this Sunday morning and you're all enjoying your morning. I haven't gone out yet. I'm hoping to go for a little bit of a walk if I can, get some air. But we'll see how the day goes. I've done my cleaning. Well, I did some of it yesterday. I'll do a bit more today, but I've got a bit of an issue with the floor. So, but I have spoken to the insurance company. So whoever tried to do something, hey ho, it is what it is. Anyway, it's nothing too serious, I don't think. Anyway, I just wanted to add to this one because I forgot to add to the other one, and I said I was going to do coercive control. And so what I'm trying to do is give people an insight into what it looks like. I'm hoping that you'll go away and do a bit of your work yourself, and then look at what I'm saying and see if you can see it. And then hopefully from that, if you see it within yourself, then you've got something to look at and ask yourself, why do I do that, and what can I do to not do that? And if you're ready, you know, to make some changes, then make some changes. And I will be putting a link down the bottom in terms of you know, working, you know, on coaching and stuff. The only reason why I haven't done it is because people are blocking my phones, and obviously I don't want to put a phone number out there and people can't get hold of me, because obviously that doesn't really work, does it? So I haven't done that yet, but obviously, you know, there will be a couple of sessions that I will put out for people if you want them, in terms of obviously if you're starting on your journey, if you're in spiritual warfare and you're in the eye of the storm and it's like, oh my god, what do I do? And we'll take it from there. But coercive control, so what is it? Continuous patterns of behaviour that are intended to exert power or control over a person, people or organisation. Depriving of independence, forcing isolation and codependency, they need the abused to be minimised so that they can be superior. Depriving people of their basic needs, sometimes food, blocking the phone, livelihood, and they'll do things like, and in my case anyway, in the previous one I said I did a timeline of all the things that had happened, and obviously a lot of those things were instigated by people. So they will contact your work and they will make up stuff and they will create stuff to create an illusion of who you are so that they can control. And that's happened to me. So, you know, they'll contact your work, they'll infiltrate and destroy opportunities. And I had one of those at the very early of this, because I was selling some books because I wanted to get rid of volume as well, and I wasn't making much money on it, but what I did make, you know, it was just easy to get rid of the volume. Anyway, someone had gone into my emails and deleted the delivery, and when I spoke to the company, they said, oh no, the delivery was deleted. I said, well, it wasn't, because the parcel was sitting in my porch. So, you know, it's just the little things like that that is their need for control. Constant monitoring. So obviously we know about the monitoring spirits, but we also know that they I mean, people have physically moved in by me and are watching me. That's how insidious it gets. And they'll monitor your internet, they'll monitor your phones, they'll monitor your post, because remember, I don't get any posts, so they're obviously monitoring my post. And they'll pay people. If you ever did watch the Prayer Storm TV about the ex-Satanist who talks about, I think it says, oh, I was married to a witch before I was born. But if you watch that, and halfway through it, I think it's about 3 hours, but if you get to about 2 hours of it, he tells you exactly how they operate. what they do, why they do it, and how they do it, and how they infiltrate, and how they lie, and how they get people to do things. And before the people know it, which is one of the reasons why I put on here about contracts, you know, do you know what you sign up for, and do you know how to get out of it? Because what they'll do is they'll go in with some really nefarious reason and maybe a lie or whatever, and manipulate people to get people to do stuff. But what they don't realise is they're then being drawn into the devil's work. And once you're in that and you've sold your soul and you've been paid, and then they've got something on you, how'd you get out of it? How'd you get out of it? So watch it, because it's really interesting. And I mean, obviously he's an ex-Satanist, so he knows exactly how they operate. And I'm not saying that the person that's coming for me is a Satanist. Maybe they are, maybe they're not, but it just seems that there's a pattern of behaviour, and coercive control is definitely part of it, as well as the toxicity. So they monitor your phone, they monitor your computer, and they'll use spyware. They monitor you every day, monitor who you speak to, who you don't speak to. They'll steal your contacts and contact all your contacts, business and personal. But then again, saying that, I mean, the only thing that I will say there is, and I think I said it in the earlier one, it's down to the person who's receiving that message, and their test and their temptation is to whether they've got integrity enough to actually fall for it, or actually be loyal and stand and say, no, I'm not playing your game. If they play the game, then they're you know, that's their test, and that's their temptation, isn't it? And obviously they tell someone like me that their loyalty isn't where one thought it was. So we all have choices, don't we? In some cases, they'll tell you where you can go, who you can see, what you can wear, and where you can sleep. I've already said they infiltrate your networks, family, friends, relationships, work, business, colleagues, and stuff. They pay people, and that, you know, they, if you look at that prayer storm, he says they have a massive budget, and they'll pay people to either watch you, monitor, or do criminal damage, or whatever they need to do. But they'll pay people to do whatever, so that they've got tabs on you, because that's what control is. I mean, obviously, me personally, I think it's a generational curse, or it's a wound that needs to be healed, and so they can release that control. And maybe they've been controlled, so that's all they know. Who knows? And they're quite happy to sabotage people as well. They will use insults and intimidation tactics, whatever they feel necessary, and in some cases they can be abusive and violent. They may offer an apology, and this goes back to the toxicity one as well. They may offer an apology, but it's without sincerity, and it usually comes with conditions. What that means is usually it's a case of, well, I'm sorry I made you feel that way, i.e. I made you feel that way, but you did X, Y, Z. Not just a straight apology, I'm just sorry. You know, you got to, when I talk about discernment and intuition, you've got to listen to what the person is saying, because actually, is it an apology? You know, if someone is going to throw a sorry at you, but then give you a condition about what you did and how sorry they made you feel, then it's not really an apology, is it? Let's face it, it's just, you're just being gaslit. And then we'll go into being gaslit, and we'll go into manipulation and the things that people do in another session. But you just got to use your discernment and your intuition, because sometimes people will take that as an apology, and then the cycle continues. And I'll talk about closing cycles as well, because I have mentioned it on previous ones, and I'll do a session on it. But it's a case of, when you see the pattern, and I talk patterns, and the same thing happens. So for instance, we'll use a relationship. If you split up with somebody, and you split up because there's a behaviour thing that goes on, and then they woo you back and you get back into the relationship, and then the same thing happens again, then that is a pattern, isn't it? And it's something that obviously isn't going to change. They might change to get you back, but once you're back in it, it's a cycle again. And what you don't want to do is be stuck in a cycle of another, 9, 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. if it's not right, it's not right. And if you can't resolve the issue, then you need to close the cycle, because it's a lesson and it's not a blessing. Okay, some of the root causes, underlining feelings of low self-esteem, could be narcissistic. Now I'm going to go into narcissistic in a minute, and there may be an underlining issue with mental health. Now obviously I'm not no mental health professional. If you need any sort of medical assistance or legal assistance, then please seek the relevant people to help you with that. One of the things that I do think about narcissism, and I'm going to go into it in a little bit more detail, but especially with some of the things that I've seen, I question, and I'm going to throw it out there, whether narcissism is actually narcissism or whether it's demonic possession. And I'm going to leave it on that one, and I'll let you think about that. And the reason why I say that, some of the things that I've seen, and some of the things that I'll share with you, because remember, you know, I see things as well. It's been quite interesting, and some of the things that I've seen are not so quite interesting, quite disturbing in some cases. But hey ho, you know, gifts aren't always, they aren't always light and fluffy, are they? You know, you do have to see the other side as well, which is why, you know, I don't, like I've said, I don't have an issue with people dabbling in the dark, because I've danced in the dark. You know, my life has been in the dark, so I'm very averse with it. I know how it works, and that's what I said to the person that came for me. You came for the right one, but the wrong one, because you didn't do your work, you didn't do your research. You know, I'm well averse with the underworld. I'll tell you a story about the demon that somebody sent to me and the conversation we had. You know, and he absolutely stunk of eggs. But I'll do that on a separate one. It's an interesting conversation, put it that way. I absolutely stunk of eggs, and he was standing right at the side of me, so whoever sent it, he fled anyway, but it stunk of eggs. It was just so potent, it was untrue. So I called it swampy. But anyway, I'll get onto that one in a separate one, because it's quite an interesting story, and some of the things that we discussed as well. So I hope that helps you, because I think there's a lot of people out there that don't realise they are being manipulated and controlled, and they just go with it. And you know, sometimes, you know, you can know people for 20, 30 years, and sometimes they're not healthy for you, and sometimes you can meet someone new, you've never known them, and they're the best thing for you. So I'm not saying, you know, dump all your relationships, not at all, but what I am saying is just be more mindful of what you're seeing, and you know, let's work more on our discernment and our intuition, and let's not always accept what we've always accepted, because the only way to raise your vibration is to actually take control of you. You know, you come here on your own and you go out on your own, and the journey in the middle is yours, and it should be a joyous one, you know, and you should be around people that want to lift you up and let you grow and transform and, you know, become who you want to be. And that's what we're here for. So yeah, so I just thought I'd share that as well. I've got the Deuteronomy to do in a minute, but I might go and make myself a brew, and then I'll do it, and then I'll try and upload it as well. So hopefully everyone will get something out of it, and I'll see you later. Oh, and thank you so much again for the new subscribers. You know, 26. I'm so pleased, and I'm so happy that that there are people out there that are interested in what I've got to say, and you know, and hopefully you learn something from it as well. You know, that's the whole purpose, isn't it? You know, we're all here to learn. It's like I put in my thing, teacher, but also student. You know, I'm not. Every day is a school day, and on this journey, everything is learning. You know, you learn so much, not just about the warfare side of it, and that's people's behaviours that you can't control. It's just the other stuff as well, the nice stuff, and you know, the learning yourself and breaking your own, you know, generational curses, and asking yourself, well, why do I do that? Oh, because my grandma did it. Well, I don't need to do that anymore, and stuff like that. And it's just a fascinating journey. So stick with us, and I hope more people come on board. And you know, eventually when I get a table, I probably will start reading. I'm not sure which road I'm going to go down with my reading at the minute, because it seems a little bit more like the investigator side, but I'm not sure yet. So I'm not going to do it just yet. I quite like doing what I'm doing, and I'm sure I'll get guided once the time is right. And you know, people are still watching anyway, so I'm very grateful, and thank you so much for that. And thank you to my ancestors, thank you to God Almighty, thank you to Jesus, and thank you to my archangels who have kept me so sane. I can't tell you. And I will share with you, when we get into the awakening bit, I will share with you the journey of awakening, my journey, and how they are amazing. The things that they do, you know, honestly, you wouldn't believe it. But you know, anyway, take it easy, keep smiling even when things are not so great. You know, there's always something to smile about, and there's always something to switch a negative to a positive. I always say in the morning, I'm very grateful for being awake and being alive. So see you soon. See you later. Bye.